Tressa, hope you're doing well today. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to make a lemon pound cake. And I have a lemon cake on my what do you call it, channel. And it's good, but I never made a pound cake before. And this one has ingredients that I've never used before in a pound cake. So I want to try it. And I want it to look like this. I'll show you the picture, because I shouldn't show you the picture because mine probably won't look like this, but that's the picture of it. And I'm using this book. I don't know if you watch QVC, but In the Kitchen with David used to be my favorite program. I haven't watched it in a while, but I do still enjoy him. And if you notice my shirt, I'm not from Tennessee, but this is my team. And it's basketball season. I don't even know if they're still in the games right now, the competition. But I thought I'd wear my shirt anyway because I needed a different shirt. So let's get baking. I'm going to use this bunt pan, and I think I'm just going to go with the cooking spray with the flour, so we'll see if that works, because I'm lazy today, so I'm just going to do that. It usually works, but if it sticks a little bit, it sticks a little bit. What are you going to do? It'll still taste the same, but I think, you know, this can doesn't tell you what size it is, but I think it's like a 12 cup. It's pretty big, so I'm going to use this one. So let me start measuring off the ingredients, and then we'll start mixing it up. First thing I'm going to do is, well, the first thing I did was preheat my oven to 350. I hope that's the right, there it goes, that's my oven. So I'm going to use all-purpose flour, and I always like to fluff it up. You can spoon it into your cup too. There's different ways of measuring flour. I just kind of fluff it up, and then I just take it, and I take a, well, I'm sorry, you probably can't even see. I take a knife, and I just scrape the top, and then I bang it. I'm sure you know how to measure flour. Some recipes call for cake flour, some call for all-purpose flour. And I'm not good enough to know when I can substitute what. So the first time I bake a cake, I follow the recipe. I try to follow it exactly. Sometimes I don't. There's 2. And sometimes it sticks. You have to hit it. Let me fluff it up some more. And I have to keep putting my glasses on and off so I can read the dang thing. I used to be able to memorize stuff. And then I'm going to take 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder. It's 1, 2, 3. And this is my baking soda. 1, 2, 3. And we got a little salt. I think I'm going to use 1 salted butter and 2 unsalted. So then we're just going to sift this. I try to get a big bowl so I don't get flour everywhere. And my salt usually doesn't go through, so I'll just flip it over and throw it in there. Okay, got a little bit everywhere. That's the dry ingredients. So let me get the wet ingredients ready, and then we'll go to the next step. Here's the lemon curd I'm going to use. I didn't make my own. I've been wanting to try this one. It smells pretty good. But I'm going to need 1/3 of a cup of sour cream and 1/3 of a cup of lemon curd. And then the third wet ingredient is, not the third wet ingredient. This is going to be alternated with the flour, I think, though. But we need a tablespoon of vanilla, and this is, you know, my favorite. Sometimes I use my homemade, which is good, and sometimes I use liquid, but this is actually my favorite. But it's getting so expensive, it's ridiculous. And you just mix that up. Hopefully I measured that accurately. It looks pretty thick. That lemon curd was really thick. But I'm going to follow the recipe, and we're going to put some food coloring in it too. My butter's been out today, but it's a little cool, so I'm going to start mixing this and get it softened and fluffy before I add the sugar. Just so I can mess it up. No, I'm joking. I'm going to add just like a couple of tablespoons of butter, because this is really super thick. And I also forgot to tell you that we're going to need lemon zest. I don't think it calls for lemon juice, which is unfortunate because I don't want to waste my lemons, but I can use them for something else. But see, now it's a little bit thinner. I just thought it was too thick. So that'll work out. So now I have to measure the sugar and I'll be back. Okay, I beat the butter pretty good. So I'm just going to scrape it a little bit. See, it's pretty fluffy. Can you see that right there? And I hope I got you at a good angle. I'm having trouble today. So we're going to add 2 1/4 cups of sugar. And this is like, I have a mixture of organic sugar and regular sugar. This is a 1/2 cup measure, so I'm going to put 4 1/2. Oh, if I don't lose count. I am really not with it. Okay, that's about, and now we're going to add the lemon zest. And he calls for 1/4 cup, but I'm adding the zest of 2 large lemons because, I don't know, I just want to zest all my good lemons. And I don't like a ton of lemon zest in there anyway. And I try to make it fine zest so you don't really feel them in your mouth when you're eating the cake. So we're going to take this and whip it up good. So I'm going to let this go for about 3 minutes until it's light and fluffy, and then I'll bring you back. Okay, I'm going to scrape it down again. You have to scrape it down a couple of times. And my butter's still nice and chilled. Because you don't want your butter too soft. At least I don't. But sometimes you can't help it. Like in the summertime, it's just going to get really soft because it's just so much warmer. I'm going to whip this for a little bit longer. It's really thick. And it's not quite fluffy enough. And that's very important. And I have my eggs on standby. I have 5 large eggs at room temperature. And we'll add those one at a time after we finish beating this. Okay, I'm going to scrape it down again. See how it gets all up the sides? I'm going to scrape that down. And I know you can get the, I have a 5-quart mixer, and I have the paddle attachment with the, I guess, what do you call it, the flex edge beater? I have that on the, but I can tell you what, on the 5-quart mixer, when I would add the flour, it would fly everywhere. So I just didn't buy one of those for this mixer because I would get so annoyed when I would be trying to bake in with the 5-quart. Maybe it wouldn't do it with the 6-quart, but I'm not sure. So let's just go a couple more minutes, and then we're going to start adding the eggs. Now we're going to add the eggs one at a time, or 2, 1 or 2. Whoop, 2. I like to turn it up a little bit, mix it in. And once you really don't see any yolk, you can go ahead and just throw the next one in. Got one that time. I want it to look really creamy. Okay, we'll add the next one. And the next one. I don't know why I like recipes that call for a lot of eggs. Turn it up. And we're going to scrape the sides, which is kind of a pain to do this too, but it's not mixing all the way. And you want to scrape the bottom as well. It gets stuck everywhere. It's kind of messy. I still have some lumps in here, so I'm going to have to mix it some more. So I'll mix it a little bit more, and then I'll bring it back. Okay, it looks pretty nice and creamy. So I'm just going to scrape off the sides a little bit. It's well incorporated now. So now we're going to start. Actually, I'm sorry, the next step is going to be, this is optional. You don't have to do this. This is actually the first time I'm ever doing this, and I hope I don't spill. But I just have some plain yellow food coloring. I'm going to put about 7 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. Okay, 8. So let's mix this in and see what color we have. Okay, now we're going to start adding our flour and our sour cream and lemon curd and vanilla mixture. And remember, I put just a tiny bit of buttermilk in there. So I'm just going to add some flour. And then turn that on. I got that sugar everywhere. I'm just going to turn it on low. And I'm just going to take my sour cream mixture and just pour a little bit of that in. Actually, I'm going to pour about half of it in. Mix that in well. Okay, I'm going to add some more flour. Sometimes I get impatient with the alternating method. So I'm just going to have just a little bit left. So now, while the bowl is down, I'm going to go ahead and scrape out my sour cream. And I probably should use a spatula for this. And the lemon curd was decent. It's probably not as good as homemade, but it was only 1/3 of a cup, so I don't think it's going to have that big of an impact. I mean, I hope it has a little bit more because I've never tried it with that. Sounds interesting. Okay, that's all I can get out of there. It's going to be a thick batter. We'll see. I think the little bit of buttermilk was a good idea, but sometimes I'm wrong. It's thick. So now I'm going to scrape the bowl again. The best I can because it's a lot of batter. And I'm going to go ahead and try to dump the rest of this flour in. It's not much. I'm going to mix that in. I want to put all my dirty dishes in one spot. That's thick. I don't want to over mix it. That looks good. So let's move over to the stove where the pan is. Okay, I just used this with the baking with flour, and I sprayed it twice. So then we have to try to clean this up. It's a really thick batter, and I think it's gonna have a nice lemon flavor. And we're also gonna make a lemon syrup to soak the cake with. I think. Have to read the recipe again because I keep forgetting it, but I think we need some lemon juice, so I won't waste those lemons like I said earlier. Okay, we're gonna just give it one final mix, and this is probably gonna take quite a while to bake. It's really thick. I always have to make sure the bottom's fully mixed. And, it's hard. I have a hard time pouring it evenly into these pans, especially with this batter. It's so thick. I feel like maybe I should add more buttermilk, but we'll see. It said sour cream, so I guess it's supposed to be thick. Just kind of scoop it in there. And try not to get it on. Oh, and make sure you spray the middle of the bundt pan too, because I always get so nervous trying to take these bundt pans out. I never know like exactly how long you should leave it in the pan, when you should take it out. So I'm sure he has it in the instructions, but it's gonna bake for probably, if the recipe says an hour to an hour and a half. That's just, man, it's so thick. But I love David Venable, so I'm counting on his recipes to be really good. Okay, now we're just gonna kind of Brush it around, and always put my pan on another baking sheet with parchment paper, just in case something would happen. I don't want it to spill in my oven. So I'm just going to try to spread it out evenly. I think I got all I can get out. It's so buttery, slippery. Okay. So I'm just going to rinse my hands and then put this in the oven. So here it is, and then I'll let you know how long it takes to bake. Now I have to wash dishes. It's been exactly 1 hour. So I'm gonna take a bamboo skewer. It looks like it's pulling away a little bit, but I'm gonna use a big, instead of a toothpick, I'm gonna use this to really make sure. And I see a little bit, you know, I see just a, I'm gonna poke it everywhere. I don't know if you can see that on, I can't even get it in the camera. Ella, can you help me? Yeah. What am I doing wrong?
It's not too dark.
There it is. Wait, I am not good at this, but you probably can't see there's a tiny bit of wetness on there, but not much. So I'm gonna put it in like, probably for like 2 minutes, that's it, because I don't want to overbake it. So we'll put it in for 2 more minutes and I'll bring you back. I did 2 more minutes and I lost my... Ella, where'd the stick go? Here it is.
There it is.
So I'm just going to use the other side. And I don't mind. I like a tiny bit of crumbs to come out on the... Yeah, I think that's good. I can't really see it without my glasses. I think that's good. You know, I was surprised because the recipe said an hour to an hour and 30 minutes, but it took exactly an hour and 2 minutes. So I'm going to turn my oven off, and I'm going to slide this pan onto the cooling rack, and then we'll bring you back. We're going to make a syrup for the cake, and you need 1/3 cup of lemon juice. I have just I have like just a tiny bit more, but it's pretty close to that. And I'm going to turn the heat on. And then you need a cup of confectioner sugar. Not granulated sugar, but confectioner sugar. So I just need my cup measurement, or one of them. I don't have the best container for measuring this stuff, I can tell you that. Oh, and you're supposed to put a tablespoon of lemon zest, but I'm not gonna put any more lemon zest. So I'm just going to add just a tiny bit more sugar to have a tiny bit more juice, because this stuff's going to dissolve. But this is going to be our syrup to pour over the holes in the cake that we're going to make. But we have to let it cool in the pan for 20 minutes. And I'm going to just cook this until it dissolves, and then we'll bring you back when I'm ready to flip it out of the pan. Just wanted to let you know, you just cook this until the sugar's dissolved, and then it's done. And you could add the lemon zest if you wanted to. I think it's going to be lemony enough. But I think that's dissolved, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. And I'm going to actually pour it in a measuring cup, because we're going to be pouring it over the cake, and so it'll be a lot easier to pour it this way. You could add more syrup if you wanted. We're going to go with this. And the recipe says to put 3/4 of the syrup, and save the rest to pour over each slice. So we have 15 more minutes before we flip it out, and then we'll be ready to pour the syrup. Okay, here's the cake, and all I did was just, let me show you. It's really, really hot. I just took this stick and kind of tried to loosen it up a little bit, but you know, we'll just have to see if it comes out.
You made holes in it, right?
Well, I'm not trying to poke holes in it. I'm just trying to go around the edges. I don't know if that really helps, but we're going to take this so you can see. I'm sorry, my cabinets are kind of in the way. Okay, I'm going to take this. Actually, I need to move this out of my way. And we're going to try to flip this over. So here we go. Let's see. Hallelujah! Look at that! I'm so excited. Okay, so now we're just gonna poke some holes in it. I don't want too big of holes because I want it to stay looking this color. And the yellow food coloring is gonna make it just look better in my opinion. This doesn't seem like a really dense cake. I really think we're gonna enjoy this recipe. But I don't want to speak too soon. So I'm just gonna poke some holes in it. And I'm gonna pour some of the syrup we made over it. It's just simple, just confectioner sugar and a little lemon juice. It's gonna be really tart. I suppose you could add, you know, a glaze to this too if you wanted to. I'm not very good at pouring this stuff on cakes. See, it just falls all over the place. Now it's dripping. So I think I'm gonna try another method. I think I might make a little glaze. So can you see the cake? It really came out well, but the syrup is not absorbing. So I'm gonna try a glaze. I'll be right back. Okay, here's the lemon pound cake, and I really like this recipe. The cake is so moist, and I baked it for an hour and 2 minutes.
I may have taken a piece from it right there.
And Ella stole a piece of it right here, but
it's really good.
The texture is amazing. It's so moist. So moist.
I like the tanginess from the glaze, and then from the inside of the cake, it's really light, but not too light.
And it's not too sweet. The lemon is really tart. I think this recipe will go in my recipe binder because I have been looking for the best lemon pound cake recipe for quite some time. And I've tried the one with the butter and the cream cheese, and this one just had the butter and the sour cream and the lemon curd. But I like the food coloring too. It also made the cake a nice color. And you know, you could eat it with whipped cream, but I wanted to hurry up and finish because I didn't have time today. And we like it plain, but this is a really good recipe. I hope you give it a try, and I'll list it down below in case you want to. But this is a keeper. If you like lemon desserts, and this only used two big lemons for the whole recipe. I just love the look of it. But thanks for watching. Please come back for more videos, and I hope you enjoy this video. And if you do, please subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.
Bye.